over to you.
Hi guys. We'll just wait for Josh because he's sorting out the slides. Thank you for all your prayers and everything when we were away as well. We really appreciate that. It's these things only happen through prayer, so it's we appreciate that.
I love your matching outfits.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we came coordinated.
Oh, we're wearing the same outfit. Oh gosh. So I missed what you said because I was doing that.
Oh, I just said thank you. Right.
Yeah. So guys, I don't really know where to start with it because at the beginning will probably be the best. But as this guys were discussing, like Joe, because we caught up with Joe after she hadn't seen us and we got back. It's hard to articulate into words the experience because you have to be in amongst it. So what we've done is we put a little presentation together and we'll just go through each picture and then give you a bit of a breakdown of what we did. But we've got a bit of a video to show first, which will hopefully give you a little bit of a flavour of what we did out there. So if we show that one, then we'll crack on. Thanks.
Hello church, welcome to Kibuli Kijijini, which is in Kilifi in Kenya. I'm Steve Blunt, I'm here with 17 people and we've been working on a project for nearly the best part of 2 weeks. The biggest part of it we've been doing is building a large water tank, and the idea of a water tank is when it gets very, very, very dry here, 30 to 40 girls will get to go to school rather than having to go and get water.
Hello, my name's Joshua. I've come in with my family, Michelle, Katie and Lily. We've come out to Kilifi to support lots of charity, Love Your Neighbour, and all the work that they do here. It's something that we've looked at and sort of observed from a distance over the last few years and seen people go out there and come back and tell us their stories. But until you actually get out here for yourself and experience just it's a complete culture shock to the UK.
Well, we've done a whole load of stuff. Today we gave out over 250 sanitary products to girls, once again to help them carry on and go to school. We've built disability access ramps both into a library and into a disability access toilet. I suppose it would be difficult to get in there and pretty useless having the toilet.
We've been focused on building a water catchment container, so that means just building bricks, lots of bricks. The way they build bricks out here is really,
Tomorrow evening, we're going down into the village because we found out all the locals, their house is falling down, and they just cried out for help. So the whole team, I thought, we could do this. So literally behind me, I know you can't see it at the moment, it's a stack of timber that the young people have taken out of the forest and brought to here, that tomorrow we'll take down and rebuild that out.
We've also, me as a coach, I've had a football coach, I've had the chance to do the training sessions for the local football team, and that's really, really, what's the word, it's just amazing to see the team, the boys, and how they just love football. And even though they don't have much, some of them don't even have a pair of shoes, the boots to play in, pair of trainers, anything. They're running around playing football in Crocs and sliders. But that doesn't dampen their spirits. They love it, and they're a pleasure to teach because they're so hungry to learn and to listen.
Lots asked me if I would help lead the Women and Girls Day, which is where we gave out packs of sanitary products to girls in the community who have none at all. We had a quick chat about feminine hygiene and it was just a really lovely day to bless these girls with products and to see their smiling faces and to just love on them, because girls are so precious. Everyone is precious, but girls especially are so precious, and I think they sometimes can be undervalued, and to just love on them and to just let them know that people care about them, and they were just so grateful to be here today, and the joy that we experienced with doing dancing with them and singing, and it was just a wonderful experience that we've got a lot of girls here that have come this year on the trip, and they all got involved, and we all did our part, and it was just, a fantastic day. And I would just say to anybody who's considering coming out to help with Love Your Neighbour, I would just say, just do it. You'll have a lot of what ifs and buts or maybes, but if you can just go with the flow and just step outside your comfort zone, because you don't know what you're going to experience if you're just sitting at home.
Just a very, very simple one. A girl came here yesterday as part of something completely different. One of our people realised if she doesn't get medical help, she's going to die. And decision was made, let's take her to hospital. Very pleased to say she's actually been able to have anti-epilepsy tablets or medicine, and is now actually looking like making a recovery. We get a proper report in, but we made a difference in one. So every one of you who've actually been part of this project, who've actually looked and helped and donated, who've helped the young people get here, you've actually helped change lives. So I just want to say thank you. That's amazing.
So that gives a good overview of what we did out there. Even with that, it's hard to kind of get a grasp of the impact you have. But firstly, we all want to say thank you for everything that you guys, everyone that contributed and helped and encouraged. The beginning of it all started with raising the funds. And the very beginning of it was me. She was originally the one that wanted to go out, and I was quite hesitant because being the one that looks after the finances in the house, I was just looking at it purely from a financial point of view. So Mishu did the kind wifey thing and kept gently persuading me and encouraging me to pull my finger out. And after some consideration and some prayer about it, I thought, you know what, let's just do it, because you don't know when you'll get these opportunities. You don't know what's around the corner. So if you have an opportunity to do something good like that, I really encourage anybody to do it when you've got the means to do it. So we made the decision to do it. So I had a car, some of you might remember anyway, I sold that, and that we were able to get the funds then, so we knew that we had the money to go. And then obviously with the girls, the four of them, all of them doing all the different fundraising events that they did. People just pouring money in here, there and everywhere. And I know that Lexi and Lauren at one point, I think, even said they don't know how at the very beginning they're going to make that amount of money, but just the generosity of people donating, and then suddenly somebody would just chuck a lump sum of money, you'd be like, wow, you'd be really, really taken aback by it. So the encouraging thing is, if God wants you to do something, he will provide a way, will he? He'll make a way. So we have to learn not to look at things like I was at the beginning, through kind of just like my own thoughts, like, oh, that's an impossible amount of money to raise in like a short amount of time, because if God wants you to do something, he will make a way for you to do it. So I just want to encourage you with that. So if we start on the first slide, we'll go through, and I'll just, if you want to hit the space bar, I think it is. Was it done that computer thing and frozen?
It's, yeah.
Yeah. That's always classic.
You go. Much.
Do you want to have that for a second? Be sure I'll try and sort this out.
Yeah. So while we're just waiting for that, so basically, this is I'll just introduce, because you're probably wondering who this is. This is Jo.
Hello, everybody.
So her and her husband Sam, they run Value Independence in Milford. So they came along with their son Osham, and Josh was out there and he was doing things like, basically Lux was, I think, trying to put everybody in their areas of like giftings and abilities, and he did kind of throw us all in the deep end, and Jo and Sam had a very special job. They were doing disability training for the ladies at the centre, because they have like a sensory room and things, don't they? So, we'll go back to the start.
Okay.
Should we just go from the start?
Yeah, we'll get through these quickly
Sorry.
and get to the good stuff.
Good.
Yeah. We had a short trip over, so we went from Cardiff to Amsterdam. The reason that it's titled that is because when we got to Amsterdam, we all whipped off our jackets and we had our orange tops on. Mishu had an incident with a man. Shall I let her explain? It was quite funny.
Yes, so there was a big queue for the toilet, so me and a couple of the ladies were waiting for the toilet, and this man came over to us. And he thought we were from Just Stop Oil, and he was like, yeah, he was quite taken back, and then we were kind of like, no, we're with Love Remains, which is something totally different. Anyway, so yeah, that's why Josh has titled that one, just because it was a little bit funny that,
We had people looking at us funny, and then they would look at us, and then they'd look at the top, and they'd go, yeah. Almost as if they were about to say, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah, because apparently it's the same colours as Just Stop Oil. So,
didn't think about it at the time. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, briefly, our flight flew by, excuse the pun, but yeah, that was decent. You can't really see it there, but there's a few slightly anxious, stressed out looking people. Next one. Now this is where the party started. Once we landed in Nairobi, obviously for anyone that's been out to Africa, you know that the culture is very loud, it's very vibrant, it's very in your face, and it's very, very busy in Nairobi. So this was our bus that took us, it was probably about an hour's drive from the airport to the hotel. And you can't quite see it there, but all of these buses, they've all got individual like graffiti on the side of them, different themes. So this one was more of, I think, like a Marvel, like superhero theme. But you get in there and you've got the green neon lights going, you've got a massive sound system, so you literally can't hear anything but this doosh, 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 doosh. So we get off and we were all like, wow, this is great. Yes, we really like this like kind of African party vibe. Interestingly, there's lots of buses out there that they're just covered in scripture. You go in, so all inside is like just scripture and like gospel artists and everything. It's really, really vibrant, really colourful. So our first stop then, after we'd had some downtime in our hotel, our first stop was to visit, I struggle to pronounce this, Mashimoni School in Kibera. This was Lox's school that he went to. So this is just sort of on the outskirts of Kibera slum. I don't know if you know, but it's the biggest slum in Africa apparently, and it just goes on and it goes on and on. So what I want to just draw your attention to here, you can just about see Lux. I know the pictures aren't the clearest on here, but you've got the wall and then you've got the gate. Now all of this that you're seeing on the floor there is just basically sewage waste. Because what you have that runs in front of the gate is like an open storm sewer. Of course, me working in the sewage industry, I was fascinated by all of this. Anyway, so these kids are literally walking over all of this rubbish, and there's like used syringes, there's all sorts in there, and that's just their hike to school. But then as soon as you get into the school, and you see on the next slide, you know, it's just, I think what took us aback, it was such a culture shock for us, because we'd gone into this school and all the kids were so happy to see us, and they were just really they would lock eyes with you and their smiles were just really, really beaming, and they were all so happy. Now I think you've got the statistics on how many kids there are in this school.
There's like 400 kids in the school, and they're all from the slum. So it costs them £10 each a month to go to school, and like an average wage in Kenya for a month is like £40 for the whole month. So like to go to school costs a lot of money, and quite often the girls will drop out of school and they'll send the boys into school. But like these little kids, they were so small, but they do it out there. They do it in like ability rather than age. So you'd have like 4-year-olds in with like 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds and all of that. But we had the privilege of going in there for a morning, and we were all put in different sections. So Josh and Joe's husband Sam and Oshan and Lily were outside doing a bit of sport with them. Myself, Lauren, Lexi and Katie and Paul were inside, and we were doing like crafts with them. And then there was there was 2 ladies there who were Welsh teachers. They both, so that's who you saw in the video doing a bit of dancing. They were doing Welsh dancing. So everybody was kind of in their areas of like, you know, giftings, and to just spend a bit of time with the kids. But the school is really, really struggling. They struggle with finance, and it's some kids will go there and that's the only meal they get is what they have at school. And it was quite difficult to see, wasn't it? It was it was a big deal.
Because you had like, I had one little boy, I think his name was Brian, and he came up to me and he like reached out and he's like, "Oh, will you sponsor me?" You know, and that's kind of quite a regular thing to happen. So for us, it was quite overwhelming to go in there and just sort of it was just full on straight away, you know. So yeah, it was amazing because everybody had a little bit to give with their different sort of giftings and expertise. We all kind of just it was like a rotation of each of the classes, and they would come from my group to your group, then over to Fionn and Hannah's group, and it was really good. We all come away from there just really kind of overwhelmed, I think.
No,
you know?
Absolutely, to see all these children, and they really didn't have very much, but they all had sort of love in their hearts, didn't they? They were so happy. And I was in a room that we gave out a little energy biscuit, some juice, some squash and a banana, and everybody was just so grateful. You would have thought that you'd have given them a fantastic 3-course meal, you know. It was really humbling.
Yeah, you know. It was. Yeah, it really was. So yeah, next slide please. Not much to say with that, other than we had a bit of downtime one day, so we went to the Giraffe Centre. I haven't got that picture of Joan kissing the giraffe. She managed to feed the giraffe a pellet from her mouth. You can just about see
looks like I'm giving him a big kiss. It's embarrassing.
Not much else to add on that one, but it was a nice day out, wasn't it? So for me, this was the team that I helped coach for probably 3 or 4 days when we were there. The kit these guys are wearing is my Milford United under 12s kit from last season. But I don't know if you can see the difference, the middle bottom picture there. Obviously you've got the boys that are involved and sort of connected to Lox's charity, the ones with the kit on. You can't really see it there, but they've all got shin pads and the majority of them have got football boots. But the team next to them, those boys are just playing in rags and they haven't got shoes on their feet. So the difference that Love Your Neighbour's making with the football is amazing. And they're becoming a bit of a, what's the word? They're a team that all the other teams are looking at and sort of aspire to be like. Yeah, like an example. So, and it's really good. And I think in the future, Lox hopes to kind of sort of impact more of the schools and the teams around, you know. But them boys, they're like 14-year-olds, but they're like men. They're all 6-packs. They've all got abs, like chests. They're proper like strong boys, you know. And we played a game. So they had that match at the bottom there was against another rival school. And midway through the game, a goat just runs on the pitch, a little baby goat, and it just runs on the pitch, and like, none of them stopped. And I'm stood there looking at this goat thinking he's going to have it in a second, somebody's going to just stamp on him, and then about 3 minutes later, somebody comes flying through a hedge, grabs the goat, picks it up and runs off the pitch. So, but yeah, just a common occurrence, you know. One training session we had a tractor just literally drove across the pitch whilst we were in the middle of a training session. So yeah, but it's just normal out there. So yeah, that was really good. So anybody that's into football or knows anyone that's into football, further down the line we'll be asking like more supplies and kits and trying to send more out. There is currently a container on its way which is full to the brim of football stuff, but I think it's stuck in the Suez Canal at the minute somewhere, so it'll be there eventually in a month or so. But yeah, the impact of the football that's happening is really great, and I was really like encouraged that at the end of it, like the kids, what I took out was those kits, they had those kits and then they just had like basic football cones. So I set up some drills for them, just basic drills, nothing like too fancy. But at the end of it, they were just like, oh, we're so thankful because we've never had training like this. So a simple thing like a plastic cone is life-changing to those boys out there. So Eric, the coach, you can just see him on the end there, on the left, on the top picture. He's their main coach. For me and him built up a real good friendship. And his story, like his testimony is amazing. And he's a really, really nice guy. So he now, we're in contact on WhatsApp and that, Facebook and all that. And he's just sharing, like he sent me some videos yesterday of what the boys were doing and they were just loving life as they were doing the drills. So yeah, it's really great to be able to help them. So we'll get Joe on this one. Yeah, because this was Joe and Sam, so I'll leave them, Joe, to explain what you guys did there.
Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Well, as everybody knows, I'm Jo, and me and my husband run a company called Value Independence, and we set it up as a community interest company back in 2008. It's kind of our calling in lives to look after people with different abilities. And the history as to how we managed to get to Love Thy Neighbour and our connection with Lox is that Lox came to work for us just after he married Ruth and not long after he'd come back from Africa. So we gave him a job, and he always had this aspiration, this inspiration to help people with different abilities in his local community. So we talked about it very similar to you guys. We watched other people go on and have the journey, and we thought, right, this year it's going to be our turn. So we did a lot of fundraising and we got out there, and I can say that it was absolutely incredible, and I was extremely nervous because I'm not a teacher. So when Lox put us all into our groups and threw us completely into the deep end, he said, Jo, don't worry, you've got people coming from the village and you get your resources and you can teach them. I was thinking, gosh, I'm not a teacher. But we met some lovely, lovely ladies from the village, and what we realised is that it's not sort of training and qualifications these guys need. What these guys need is just a little bit of understanding and appreciation of how we do things in our country. So all of these mums here, we had a translator, all of these mums, they very much felt as though they had children with different abilities because they took a contraceptive pill, or somebody had told them that their husband had left and that's the reason why they've got disabilities, which obviously factually wasn't true. So we were able to say that we're all God's children and we're all absolutely the same inside. We've all got a good soul, and it's nothing that these women have done for themselves. So whilst we were here, we see this little lady here. This lady had 5 seizures in front of us, which for us was really alarm bells, and thankfully we were able, or Sam, my husband, was able to, with Lox's help, to take them to Mombasa to get them to hospital and get some emergency medical treatment, because our fear was that if that hadn't have happened, then that child would have died within just a month or so. There was another beautiful lady called Pretty, and she certainly was. She was beautiful, and she had hydrocephalus, so she had this really big head. She was supposed to go to hospital in February. Mum didn't have the money or the means to take her there, and there was a possibility that a shunt wasn't working. So a couple of weeks before we did this training, unfortunately Pretty had a really, really big seizure with the pressure that had built up on her brain, and his shunt wasn't working properly. So thankfully we were very grateful, in the right time at the right place, with some great people around us that all helped us. And this young lady too went to Mombasa and got treatment, and now the shunt is working and she's expected to live, which was really incredible. So yeah, you know, my passion is people with different abilities. I believe everybody's got a chance to achieve regardless of their ability, and I felt absolutely honoured and privileged to be a part of this and to be a part of the team. I know that Love Thy Neighbour is a Christian group, and before I went, I've worked so hard. I think we had, you, Michelle, prayed for me many times. I felt completely spiritually, emotionally empty. I think everybody does in some parts of their lives. but having been to Love Thy Neighbour, work with all the people that we've worked with, I can honestly say that I feel like sort of spiritually enlightened now, and my soul's beginning to fill again. It's done me an incredible, it's just incredible. And that was my part, really. That was my part, so thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
I think everybody...
thank you.
I think everybody kind of, because we all wanted to go there, we all wanted to work, and we all wanted to make a difference. And Locke said that the group that we had, there were 17 of us, so it was quite a big group, was the most productive group that they'd ever had. So we went out with the intention of building the water catchment system, which we did, and building all the bricks, but there was so much more to it. Like having Joe and Sam there, like they said, they literally, because of their like area of expertise, they saved lives. Like they saved people's lives. You know, and Josh with the football is kind of, and yeah, Eric, the coach, we announced, because he was only a volunteer at the centre, they couldn't afford to pay him a wage, so they were just giving him a donation every month. So me and Josh have been praying about that. So now we sponsor Eric, so now he's employed by the centre, and it's just things like that. You know, you go out and you think you're going out for one thing, and then God takes you on the journey, and it's kind of, yeah, coming back isn't the end of the journey. Like Joe and Sam now are in contact with someone about getting wheelchairs out to Kenya and all the rest of it. And I think that's kind of, it's just going out there is like the catalyst to push you on to the next thing.
It's very much the start. We've got a whole list, and all of us are the same things that we want to do to help these people that so deserve it. They're such lovely guys.
There's literally, you go out there and there's so many different things that you can do. You don't have to have a specific skill in, I don't know, anything, but you will still have something to offer just in what you've learned and your life experience here in the West. And so yeah, we were out there and you're looking, we can do that, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and then you're like, well, hang on a minute, like, you'll have to prioritise, but there's so many ways that you can make a difference. Just in, even, like I said, simple things like taking out some plastic cones is life-changing to like a group of 25, 30 boys. So yeah, it's really, it's amazing, isn't it?
And also not just our African friends that we've met, you know, also our own children as well. I know that Josh, he was such a great support to my 14-year-old Oshan, that, you know, you play the drums, he wants to learn how to play the drums now, so you've had a really positive impact, and so, you know, sort of for our guys, the group that's gone, and also all of our African friends now.
Well, I think we built up such a bond, because none of us, other than us guys who knew obviously our own kids and these guys over there and Paul, there was a fair few. We'd never met Sam and Joe before. I'd never met Oshan, I'd never met Danielle and Hannah and Fionn. But because you're in such a confined, sort of intense experience, you very quickly build up a relationship that would otherwise take years to develop. And like, by the end of it, we were having some conversations, you know, about, I won't repeat here, but just, you know, issues with like toilet regularities and stuff like that.
It'll take months to...
months to get comfortable to have them conversations. We were just having them conversations, you know, because we all felt comfortable, because we built up that kind of community and that sort of, that friendship. It was great, you know, it's really good. And Oshan, I said to him, he's like the son I never had, you know, he's just like, I really love the bloke, he's brilliant.
Oh, he does too.
You know, he's such a, he's like a terrier. Like you know, he's just like one of them wind-up toys that you sort of wind up and then let him go, and he's just bouncing all over.
That's true.
But yeah, for the sake of not going on and on, we'll So the top middle picture there is that top middle pic there of me and Paul, that's the water catchment tank on the first day. So you can see in the next slide you'll see the bricks and how they're being made, but that's day one. So if you go to the next slide, please. You can see in the bottom left that we've already basically had the tank built, because the efficiency of the team, and just because everybody had a job and everybody was very practical and hands-on, So like I think you said a minute ago, didn't you, that Locke said it was the most productive team he's taken out there because everybody was really involved. You can't really see it, but that top left is Mishu swinging off the pole of the brickmaker. I think you saw in the video a little bit of the brickmaker, if you can make it out, but it's basically a machine. You mix up the a bit of not sand, it's sort of dust really, isn't it, and a little bit of cement and water, and you put it into this little square chamber, and then basically every brick is made by swinging off that lever, and you have to pull it all the way back, and it takes some effort. It's not easy to do. So every single brick has had like some love and affection and sweat and possibly tears as well put into making each brick. So yeah, we accomplished so much in the middle on the top there. Mishu's, I think that was the beginning of the disabled ramp that they were building for the library. So we built a disabled ramp for the library, also one for the disabled toilets, and we got the water tank done. So we had a bit of spare, like we had a day extra really, because we'd achieved everything ahead of schedule. So with all that in mind, we had a brief moment. Sorry girls, I wanted to embarrass you all. So it's their rainy season, so this was just a picture after it had been just absolutely hammering it down, which was funny because all the white people, we went out in the rain to cool down, and all the black people ran and hid out of the rain because they didn't want nothing to do with it, but the rain was hot, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so we were like, well, this is, yeah, but what's the problem? Yeah, free shower, wasn't it? So yeah, Women's Day, so I'll let Mishu explain this one.
Yeah, I'll just be really quick. So basically, this is the Women's Day. It's where we had, 100 ladies and girls came from the community to come and collect like sanitary products because they literally have nothing. And they don't know anything about feminine hygiene either. So before we went, Lots had asked me if I could do like the women, I was going to be in charge of the Women's Day, and I was thinking, great, thank you, I know nothing about this stuff either, really. But yeah, it was definitely a God thing because I was at a different thing with Katie because she's part of the youth council, and I was talking to one of the youth leader people there, and then I was saying, oh, I've got to do this talk, blah blah blah. Anyway, and then she got me in contact. She said, well, I know the period poverty lady for Pembrokeshire, would you like me to set up a meeting? So I was like, oh, brilliant. So I had this meeting for about an hour and a half with the period poverty lady for Pembrokeshire, got loads and loads of information, and then was able to relay all that on the day to all these girls, and it was a really successful day. And the same day we had the kids club, so we had like, I don't know, 100 little kids all just turn up as well. So it was quite a full-on experience, and we all got involved, and we were able to hand out, I think the girls were all handing out toothbrushes and pencil cases and pens to all the little kids, and they all got a meal, and yeah, we just had a really fun and enjoyable day, like celebrating the girls and celebrating the women, because they're quite often the ones that kind of, don't get to go to school. And basically the whole reason we went out was to help the girls go to school with the water thing, but also when they're on their periods and stuff, they don't get to go to school because they don't have products. So now they're able to go to school. So we're hoping to look into kind of finding a more sustainable way of getting products out there for them. So that's something we're praying into at the minute. So that's that one. A lot of the kids have ringworm. So myself and Joe, and I think Sam helped as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
We did a deworming afternoon with all the kids as well, which was we did a lot, which is obviously something we've never done before, but we just kind of went with it, and but also I think because we were doing so much, we were all really tired, but I think God kind of gave us the grace to, we didn't realise you were tired, you were living on 3 hours sleep, if that, but it's just amazing how God sustained us, and kind of, it was good, Oh, that's another one. Yeah, that was all the girls having their pads. Oh, and that was Josh. So the privilege of speaking at church.
Yeah, so it was Easter Sunday, so it was Resurrection Sunday. And in true African fashion, I got told I was preaching probably about 7 p.m. Saturday or thereabouts. So I was racking my brains thinking, what can I preach on? Anyway, I spoke on forgiveness, and it really impacted a lot of people in the church, because obviously they have a lot of issues going on. A lot of just there's so much going on that a lot of them can harbour a lot of bitterness towards people. But it was great. Locke was my interpreter. It was a shame, because I thought it'd be quite funny to bring him here today and then get him to interpret what I'm saying. But for the sake of time, we'd be here So what did I did like maybe 25 minutes, which is in the UK is acceptable, isn't it? But when I was done, they thought that was just like a warm-up. They thought, because their pastor expected me to speak for an hour and a half, and I was just like, no, there's no way. I'll be bored with my own voice after that amount of time. So that was great. I really enjoyed that. It was a good morning. So this, I said a second ago, because we finished the day earlier, we had some time spare. And this house was the house of, what was her name? Arnold was the, was the name of this.
There's a young boy with different abilities that the mum had come through the training.
And we haven't got a picture of it here, but his house that you can just see on the left there, that the back end of it is just falling away. So Locks was worried that at any moment that house would just collapse. So we went there, and this is halfway through. So the day before, me, Eric, I think Sam has gone, and we dug the footholes for the main supporting logs. They're a lot like fence posts that cut from a tree. So we've done that, and we were able to knock this up in pretty much a day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really hard work, because it was 40-degree heat. And you'll see on the next slide that Misha was standing in front of this mound here. We were all having to take turns in pickaxing it and shoveling it. But as you can imagine, a mound of earth that sat in 40-degree heat for weeks and weeks just turns into like a solid mass. So it was hard graft. So we were ferrying it back and forth. You might be able to just make out Danielle on the left there. In little, they were like, they were just drums cut in half, weren't they? Mm-hmm. Like 50-litre drums cut in half, so you just have to pick them up, you load that in there, take it over to the mixing section. And then these girls here had a bit of a laugh mixing it. On next slide, please. You just make out what it was. It was all put into one big pile. As much like anyone's done building, you're mixing sand cement the old school way without a mixer on the floor, but they would use their feet, a bit like pressing grapes. They were all proper messy by the end of the day. That's our son. So that's Joe's boy there. Just all the energy in the world. So we had him shoving all day, because he's just like a Duracell bunny. He just doesn't get tired. So he's just a few more pics. Everybody looking nice and clean. You can't see it there, but the girls, who is it, Misha, Kate and Lily, their legs were just like brown all the way up, because they were like standing. I think at one point you were on your knees as well, weren't you? Everybody just loved it. And then I think on the next slide, all the guys. And on the next slide again, I think, please. So this is the end of the build, what we managed to achieve. It was literally about a day. So within a day, we got pretty much all the wall done and the tin roof. But what's interesting about the tin roof is in their culture, a tin roof is a bit of a status symbol. So you would traditionally have a thatched roof, but a tin roof is like, I don't know, maybe going from a semi-detached house to a bungalow or a detached house or a villa or whatever. So for those guys in their community being slightly ostracised because of the way that they view disabilities, it's now kind of given them something to be a bit proud about. So I think it's done well for their confidence, hasn't it? And to help the other villagers kind of reach out to them a bit more. There's so much more we could go on, but for the sake of time, I think I'll just leave it at that. But there's some random pictures here. I got to drive a tuk-tuk, which was like interesting, because if you look, I'll be on the next slide, that's their roads. So you've got a ditch either side, and in most of it you've got a ditch in the middle, and the tuk-tuk's got 3 wheels. So one wheel is always somewhere you don't want it to be. And I had like Mishu, I had everybody in the back, didn't I? Yeah, but it was great. So yeah, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I can't think of anything. Just.
Oh yeah, the football pitch.
Oh yes.
So me and Mishu, when we got back then, we were going out walking the dogs, and we were praying about ways to help. And we both felt that trying to buy some land, and it would be cool if we could have a football pitch close to the community centre, because like I say, you could go for tractors or like just broken bottles, whatever. People don't respect the land, unfortunately. It's literally like a farmer's ploughed field. I do have some other pictures, but it doesn't do it justice. Like, you'll be running along and then there'll be just a crater, you know. So we were talking about that, and we went and had a chat with Locks and Ruth, and we said, look, we're interested in helping to buy some land out there. And Locks was, then what did he say? He said, oh yeah, well, I've just had a conversation with A Wish, which is like his site manager. And he said, oh, we decided we want to buy some land and turn it into a football pitch by the centre. And we were like, oh wow, that's really cool, isn't it? Because we were there praying about it, thinking, oh, wouldn't that be a good idea? And they're having that conversation that we don't know about, you know. So yeah, we're going to try and help out with that. And the incentive then for the boys to get involved with that team is that they can use the benefits of having that team kit and everything else that goes with it, a nice football pitch, on the basis that they can prove that they're going to school and they're studying and they're actually putting the effort in to get themselves an education. Yeah, so there's also a library there. I forgot to mention, that the one day where we were we were carrying books from the container to sort them out in the hall. That was the one day that you had those massive downpours. The one day that you get paper and stuff that doesn't want to get wet out, it starts chucking it down. So that was cool. But yeah, so that's the incentive there. Also with the football pitch, they want to have a girls' team or like a session so that girls can train. Because lots of the girls in the village were sat like just on the side watching the boys train. And anytime they try and get involved and play themselves, the boys say no, they're not allowed to, because culturally the girls aren't allowed to. So Love Your Neighbour want to make a safe place for those girls to be able to train without having boys telling them no, without having older men like watching them, so that they can learn to play football in a nice, safe environment. So that's something that's like really close to my heart with the football and with the fact that my kids play football and Lily still does. So yeah, so that's hopefully the next project going forward. Yeah, so I think I'll wind it up with, if you get the opportunity to do it, I really, really suggest you just do it, you know, and just, yeah. Don't worry about the details, let God sort that out, but you just worry about getting yourself there and taking what you've got to give, because whatever you have to give, you'll be a blessing out there.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you don't even know what you've got to give. You know, so you're just like, actually, you can do this, and then you just kind of. I think it's that step of faith, isn't it? It's that thing of like, you know, you've got to take the first step, and then God will meet you. You're not going to have everything there. You're not going to have all the answers. You just have to kind of. It's that thing of like building your faith, and the more you build your faith, the more you say, okay, God, and then the more He gives you, and it's, you know, it just snowballs from there, and then you just, it's just, and then you. Before you know it, you've gone on a massive adventure, and can't wait to go on the next one. So,
the first thing that we were doing when we came back, I was sat down looking at land, looking at houses, and thinking, how can I get back out there? Yeah, you know, so it changes you, and it makes you think in a much more broader sense, you know. And these were made by the people who've done out there, these tops. So we all had one made by. One of the incentives that they've created there, one of the training sessions, was to teach the women of the village how to sew. So at the beginning of the trip, I think pretty much everybody, maybe these two out over here, but I won't point them out, although everyone's looking at you now, sorry. Everyone had a dress or a top or a pair of trousers. So those women, I forget their names, but they were there, weren't they, from all day till about 12 o'clock at night.
Like every night, making sure.
Yeah, just sewing, because at the end of the trip we had a gala night, so we all dressed up and we all had a little dance and that. Yeah, so.
And no electric sewing machines, it was all sort
just
of
old school singers, you know,
sing-alongs.
yeah, you know, but really good. But that's one of the things that they did when they first set the centre up was, teach the women how to be able to make money then. Yeah, so yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant. We've got all our passports reviews, and we know we're not the only ones, but who knows? Is God calling you? And let's strengthen the link with Africa. Do they have musical instruments? Do they need musical instruments at all?
Yeah, I'm sure they had a drum kit that they took to the, what's it called, the church. So yeah, there'll be a need for musical instruments, anything.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that you think is of no value, there will be a use for it. That's the amazing thing. Because when we were out there, we were having a little dance, and I made a hand drum out of an old, I don't even know what it was, a water container, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So just playing hand drum.
trick.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, anything you've got to give, they'll accept it gladly and they'll make use of it.
There we are.
Oh, amazing.
Fantastic. Don't go away. Let's pray for you guys. Do you want to stand up, guys, so we can see who you are? Lovely. In actual fact, why don't you just take a step out of your chair and come to that's great. And anybody got a camera? Anybody got a smart camera? You can take a photograph of this. Yeah, we move the left hand away.